Hello again, my name is Kevin Arafin, in case you forgot, and right now we are at Pauley Pavilion. That is the name of this building over here on your left side. Inside of there, you're going to find that Pauley Pavilion is our huge center for sports. So a lot of student sports happen right inside of that building. And actually, if you go inside, you can find yourself in the student section, which we actually call the den, where you can find yourself courtside, cheering on, being a super fan for UCLA sports, so you can watch all of our basketball games, gymnastics meets, volleyball matches right inside of this building against some of the greatest other schools that are here in the United States. Additionally, UCLA is a huge school for sports in general, and that means not only watching sports, that also means being a part of sports. So we have 3 levels of sports here at this school. So we have everything ranging from D1 sports. This is the stuff you see on TV, the stuff that you would be watching inside of this building. If any of you are a D1 athlete, be sure to give me your autograph after this tour. Additionally, on top of that, we also have club sports. So this is for anybody that wants to participate in sports at a competitive level still. And then we also have intramural sports. So these are sports that you just do for fun with your friends. For example, the campus tours community, we actually have an intramural softball team. So if any of you want to compete against me in softball, look for the Tornadoes. Now, of course, Pauley Pavilion is not just limited to sports only. We also have a bunch of other events that happen inside of there. So for example, we have something called Spring Sing. Spring Sing is this huge concert that we put on every single year during our spring quarter. A bunch of different performing arts groups will come out doing comedy, drama, a cappella, dancing, Cirque du Soleil stuff, all the things that you can imagine for this huge competition where they're competing to win Spring Sing in front of a panel of celebrity judges as well as the entire UCLA student body. So a really great place for student life inside of that building. Additionally, clubs and organizations also host events inside of there. So you can find one of the largest events that we have here at UCLA is actually called Dance Marathon. Now for a regular running marathon, you might imagine yourself running 26.2 miles. But of course, for a dance marathon, we don't run that many miles. We actually dance for that many hours straight. So it's this huge event. A bunch of different teams come out to compete against one another. You're not allowed to sit down, otherwise you lose points for your team. And actually, as a part of Dance Marathon, it's one of the ways that our Pediatric AIDS Coalition, which hosts and runs the event, raises money and awareness for pediatric AIDS research and awareness. So one of the really great ways that we here at UCLA actually literally take a stand against pediatric AIDS. And so that's a little bit about what's inside of the Pauley Pavilion, a really great building. You'll definitely find yourself here at UCLA if you are really interested in UCLA spirit and student life and sports. But now I want to go ahead and take us on a little bit of a tangent, talk a little bit to you all personally, just add my little tidbit here and talk about why I chose UCLA. So a little bit of a story time. So when I was first going through the college application process, it wasn't very interesting. I put UCLA as the #1 choice on my list, not for any particular reason why, but because my parents told me that this was a good school. And of course, I had a bunch of teachers in high school who were actually alumni from UCLA, so they had the banner plastered all over their room. And so I thought UCLA must be a good school. I guess I'll go there. And so I submitted my application without much thought, and a few months later, college acceptances and rejections come out, and it turns out that I get into every single school that I applied to, except for UCLA. I was actually waitlisted from UCLA, and at the time, this really devastated me, because UCLA was a school I thought I was going to go to, and now I was confronted with the reality that I probably wasn't going to go here. At least that's what I thought at the time. And so after my initial period of sadness, walking around, being a little bit sad that I didn't get into the #1 public university in the nation, I actually, my parents, they actually came up to me and they said, "Kevin, you still got into some other really amazing schools. Why don't we go and visit?" And so my parents and I agreed to go on this college road tour where I got to visit a bunch of other schools, find things that I liked, find things that I didn't like, ultimately decide what I really wanted in a college experience. And as I was going through all of these different schools, I started to get a little bit worried because nothing was really clicking with me. And so towards the end of the college road tour, my parents, they came up to me again and they said, "Kevin, you weren't fully rejected from UCLA. Why don't we go and visit?" Now, at first, I was a little petty. I was like, nope, they hate me, I hate them, I don't want anything to do with UCLA, do not take me there, I'm gonna throw a huge tantrum. However, I did not have my driver's license at the time. So I really didn't have a choice. My parents took me out here to UCLA, and the moment that I stepped onto campus, I kind of had that aha moment. As we've seen on our tour today, UCLA's campus is so beautiful, and even though I've been a SoCal resident all my life, I had never visited the campus and could appreciate that aspect of it. Additionally, on the day that I came and visited UCLA, I also took a campus tour, and the tour guide was so engaging, so informative, so willing to answer all of my questions, that it started to raise UCLA back up on my list. Additionally, after the tour, I talked to some students that were kind of sitting on the sides, didn't look like they were doing too much. I went up to them and asked them if they could point out any of the locations that I wanted to see on a map. And not only did these students offer to walk me to these buildings, but they also, as we were walking, started to talk to me about their involvements, their passions, what they loved about UCLA. I started to realize that UCLA truly was my dream school. Now, of course, perhaps the most significant part of my day is that after I finished seeing everything that I wanted to see that day, I actually went up to these students. I said, "Thank you very much for showing me around. I really appreciate the effort that you put into showing me the school. I was really inspired by all the amazing things that you do. However, I don't think I'm gonna get into this school. So have a great, nice rest of your life." And I turned around and I started to walk away. But these students, they actually tapped me on the shoulder. They came up to me, they turned me around, they said, "Kevin, wait, what is it that you want to do? We had spent so much time talking about ourselves." Now, this is not a new question. I've gotten this question at every other school that I visited. And so I told them that I was interested in science education. And the moment that I told them this, their faces glue up in a way that I didn't see at other schools. Even though neither of them were involved in science education themselves, they started to list a bunch of different resources that I could access here at UCLA. They said, "Oh, you're interested in science education? You should go talk to this professor. She's involved in science education research. You could go talk to her. Here's her contact information. Oh, you're really interested in becoming a science teacher? You should do this program called CalTeach, where students are able to go out into local middle schools and high schools, shadow different mentor teachers, start practicing in the classroom. A really great way for you to start getting your teaching credential." And they listed all these different things for me, even though I told them that I didn't think I was gonna go here to UCLA. And this was really important, because up until this point in my college road tour, all of the other schools that I had visited, I knew that if I went to those schools, I would belong there. I had gotten into those schools. But UCLA was the first school where people saw me here before I saw myself here. And that was really important, because never for a second did I step onto this campus and anybody doubt my ability to be here, whether that means getting off the wait list, coming back as a transfer student, coming back as a graduate student, working here in the future. Never for a second did anyone doubt my, ability to have an impact on this campus, which is why they even listed a bunch of UCLA-specific resources for me, even though neither of them were involved in those things. And never for a second did anyone doubt my ability to belong here, which is why they even talked to me in the first place. They had no idea who I was. I was a complete stranger, and they were still willing to convince me that UCLA was the school for me. And so from that moment, I knew that UCLA was gonna be the place that would push me to be my very best. People at this school would push me to pursue my dreams without anybody holding me back. And additionally, on top of that, they would also push me to pursue my potential before I even saw it in myself. So the moment that I left UCLA that day, I didn't pay attention to any of the other schools that I visited, which I probably wouldn't recommend for all of you, but that was just me. I knew deep in my heart that UCLA was a place that I wanted to go. People at this school would hold me accountable to becoming the person that I ultimately wanted to become. And so for the rest of my college road tour, I stayed in the car, I stayed in different rooms, I worked on my waitlist essay. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into that thing because I knew that even if I didn't end up getting into UCLA that first round, at least I had put my best foot forward. And I submitted my application, I said, probably whatever, it's doomed. And a few months later, I get an email at 6 o'clock in the morning, right when I wake up. At first, I was a little bit confused. I was like, what? UCLA's emailing me again? I thought our relationship was over. Why is she texting me back? But I opened my application portal and it said, congratulations, you've been accepted to UCLA. And from that moment, I literally screamed. I ran to my parents' room. I canceled all my plans the next day to make it out to Bruinbound, which is our admitted students day. And ever since then, I've never really looked back. Everything I thought about UCLA on the day that I visited has been confirmed true. all the people that I've met at this school, whether they're very similar to me through the Association of Indonesian Americans or very different from me through campus tours where we're all hired for the diverse parts of campus we represent, every single person continues to inspire me with all the amazing things they do every single day, as well as continues to push me to be my very best. The person that I came into UCLA as is not the same person that I am today, and I am so much better off for it, and it is largely thanks to all the ways that people around me have continued to open doors and opportunities just for me. And so, that became the reason that I chose UCLA and why I still continue to choose UCLA every single day that I wake up. I am so incredibly grateful to be at this school, especially since I got off the wait list. There's never a second that I don't take advantage of the opportunities that I have at this school and the connections that I've made throughout my time here at this campus. That is something that I will cherish forever. And so for all of you, as you're going through the college application process, I really encourage you to find a school that will do this for you. Find a school where you feel like you will be pushed to be your very best and that you can be unapologetically yourself. And with that said, that concludes our time at this section. I want to thank all of you for being with us here on this section of the tour. If you want to go ahead and revisit some of the other sections of this tour, you can go ahead and click on the map, point at any of the sections that you want to see again, scan the QR code, and we'll be happy to give you that spiel again. But other than that, have a great rest of your day. Go Bruins.